Hello, this is Telmir and welcome to another repair video. We're looking at an iPhone XR. Now there's a problem that we're dealing with this phone, and it's not turning on, and it's not charging either. At least that's what the customer is stating. So I'm trying to turn it on right now, and it's not doing anything. So there's a few things that we can actually do with this one. I'm gonna try out a few different things. With the XR, it has a charging coil in it that allow it to charge wirelessly. So let's begin first with just testing out the charge port. I'm going to take a look at the charge port just briefly. Let's just see. I don't think you guys can see it, but I don't see any damaged pins. It might be a little bit dirty on the bottom, but it's not terrible. Let's just flip this over so you guys can see. There we go. It's all lit up. Plugged in nice. It's charging fine. Went up to 800 milliamps just briefly there, and it's sitting around a standard non-fast charging kind of mode. 700 milliamps, that's not bad. That's not a bad charge. So it is charging. Don't see anything on the screen at all though. Not a thing. So we're just going to let it charge for a bit and just see what happens there. Usually at this point you would have seen something pop up on the screen to show you that there was in fact the fact that it's charging. Not even getting that though. So my next thing I'm going to do is just see if it turns on, and if it turns on I should be able to flip this switch here, which is your silent mode switch, and if it does have the ability to turn on, you'll at least be able to feel the fact that it vibrates, etc. The moment it's not doing, I just saw that dip. I saw that dip. Did you guys see that dip? Because I saw that dip. I'm just going to watch this for a little bit and let's just see what's happening. So I believe at the moment the phone is in a bit of a boot loop. That's my theory. It's doing it about every 10 seconds. Why do they have to water the garden right now? So I'm going to throw this on my heating mat and we're going to go and heat the phone up. I'm going to take that screen out. I'm going to throw in a tester screen and let's just see what it does. All right, it's nice and warm. Let's just see if this comes up relatively easily just by pumping it. Looks like it is. Sometimes I need to use the chisel blade, razor blade to get those up, but I think it's coming up well enough. I should just be able to drop a little bit of alcohol into there and it should slowly work its way up. Oh, it's starting. That's interesting. The moment that it opened, the moment that I popped the screen up, the phone started turning on. Yeah, it's boot looping. The screen does work, it's just boot looping. Interesting, though, that it didn't turn on until I started pulling that screen up. And the screen, the phone's on now. I can't think of a reason why this would have happened. I'm going to pop the shields off and just double check to make sure that they're all comfortably sealed down. Okay, so the screen went off on its own eventually, in the sense that it's now no longer turning on, and it's back to boot looping. So what I'm going to try doing next, and I have talked with the customer to confirm they're okay with me going ahead now and trying to do a reseat, and if that doesn't work, possibly replacing the screen. Not just boot looping, but the screen specifically going off. That's really confusing. So I'm going to go and take these 3 shields off, and let's see what happens. All right, let's get these guys out. Don't forget. Already disconnected this, and the phone's off already, so it's not a big deal, but you should disconnect that power first. Get the battery disconnected first, just in case, especially with the screen connectors. You're just asking for problems otherwise. Now that seal is pooched. Let's just get that out as well. So do we see anything wrong with the screen itself? I don't see any indicators of damage. To begin with, let's reseat everything. Put it back in, because once again the screen is not coming on. It for like boot looping, at least the Apple logo would come on, you know. So in that occasion, you should see something. Here we go. That is done. Now let's just turn it on. Not doing anything. Let's try to encourage it a little. May as well use my amp meter as well, just to see what's going on as well. So at this point in time, we should at least be seeing the Apple logo, or maybe at least a battery symbol. It's sitting at 0. Oh, it just reset. There we go. Fast charging now, or as close to it. But it's not doing anything. I think it's going to do that reset process again, and it should do that in another few seconds. There we go. And so it still has the same problem as last time. The screen is still not doing what it's supposed to, and the phone is still boot looping without display. So let's just disconnect that. I don't see any particular issues here beyond. That right there is that connector slightly higher than it should be? We got a tester screen here. That's not a tester screen. Didn't want to use a new screen just yet. I want to use an actual iPhone XR tester. This one has screen damage, but it's fine. It should work. That's what's important. I want an original screen. I don't want to take any chances. Hence why I got tester screens. I always just take the ones that are beat up and ugly. Now, first off, I think I've got everything connected back up. Power's there, good. Let's plug it back in again. Here we are. That's interesting. That was a lot faster. Still nothing on display though. Now for kicks and giggles, I'm going to use a brand new screen. So the screen I'm using here, this is a third-party screen. I think it's an what is it, AO7 or something. They're pretty good phone screens. I've been using them quite a while. AQ7 is the brand. That's good to go. I am not confident. Let's see if it just needs a boost. Still not working. I highly doubt this, but let's try something else again. I'm going to remove this and go back to at least the tester screen just for now. Okay, here's an iPhone XR battery. I'm going to try this. Push that out of the way for the moment. Still no display. I have a feeling I know what the issue is. When the phone had gotten really worn, it had started working again. I'm going to try pushing on the motherboard and seeing what happens. Just pull it out while I'm pushing down on the motherboard, push back in. It's not doing anything while I'm pushing on the board. That's interesting. I'm going to put it on the heating pad again, and let's see if heating it up is what makes it to start work again. I'm going to put back the screen, the original screen, back in there again. The phone's heating up right now. It's very hot. Very hot. Woo! That is a spicy phone. That's the tester. I don't want to use the tester. Not right now. You know what? I'm going to use it anyways. It doesn't make any difference. I know that the screen works. That's all that's important. Okay. There you go. It's working again. The phone's hot. So what that tells me is there's an issue on the motherboard itself. I do not currently have the capability to do this repair. Very likely what has happened is a part of the motherboard itself has delaminated. Now obviously it's shut down because the phone is very hot. The reason it's turning on is because the phone's hot. And oh, that's so disappointing. So what we're confirming here is that the motherboard itself has a disconnection because the heat is making the motherboard swell, which is just enough for whatever pad has been disconnected to rebind itself back together. And there is actually a device that you can use that you take the motherboard out and you set it in this device, and then you set it on top of it's not a heating pad, it's a soldering plate is what it's called, and it's used to solder back these boards, these sandwiched motherboards, back together, or to take them apart, and that's what their exact purpose is. I think the phone's turned back off again and is now going through its boot loops because it's cooled down just enough for it to go back into boot loops. That's really unfortunate. I feel for the customer. The screen is showing as lit, which is interesting. The screen was lit. There we go. Plates are back in place. Kicks and giggles. One final test. I still have to put the penelope screws in the bottom, but yeah, unfortunately it is still doing a screen off boot loop. And it has an issue with the motherboard. The sandwich of the two motherboards in there not likely fully connected on a couple of pins. It's extremely unfortunate.
So just outside of the repair shop here, let me explain a little bit more here. I informed the customer that they would need to go and send the phone away to a company, likely somewhere about 200 kilometers away. And if not that, maybe even send it to a place like Northridge Fix that's in California, which is thousands of kilometers away. So they gave me the phone, and I can use that as a parts phone. And I do have a phone lined up for it that I can put another motherboard from a really busted up phone into that one. So you're going to see that in a future video.
Well, that's really all there is to this video, guys. You can hear in my voice I am very unhappy with this situation. I was really hoping that all I needed to do was reseat those ribbon cables or maybe even just replace the screen. Thank you guys all for watching. Hope you guys liked the video. If you liked the video, please do leave a like, and if you want to see more of my stuff, subscribe. We'll see you guys in hopefully a happier video. Bye.